Peace and blessings, Halita, to you all. I am Phoenix Nadi, the Copper Shaman, and today I am here to discuss Umashi Reiki energy healing. Now, I know you're like, oh my gosh, why are they making so many different forms of Reiki? Well, I have been in search of the most ancientest form of energy healing that I could possibly find. Me being an Amero Indian or a native to the Americas, me being an indigenous inhabitant of these Americas, I decided to dig into our culture, not necessarily what's happening right now on the reservations with the Mississippi Band of Choctaws and the 5 civilized tribes and all of those things. No. I wanted to dig deep. I wanted to go so much further that what I found had to resonate with my soul, my spirit. It had to be something that ultimately I was like, that's it. That's it right there. Why? Because it connects to me on a deep energetic level, and that is Umashi. Now, let's back up, rewind, and discuss she. So we have found that the she people, that they are, they're pretty much the oldest inhabitants of America here. I'm not going to get too far into it because that's not really my platform here, but I want to discuss where it stems from. So I have to go back, way back, all the way back to where I ended up in my own genealogy. So I dug a little deep. I've been blessed to be able to have a grandmother who did a lot of research on her own. She has studied, a lot of the ancient and traditions, I should say, that are within our family. But not only that, she decided to build our family tree so that family members like me are able to go back and trace back. But I was able to go back a little bit further than she was. And I found out that my family indeed are of the Choctaw. Now, when you study the heritage, the history of the Choctaw, you then find out that they came way, from across the US, because if you look now, they'll tell you that they were in like the Mississippi, Alabama, parts of Texas area. They were right there in that Gulf of Mexico type situation there. But what we also found out was that they traveled. They traveled from Mexico, as well as South America, which is the land of the Maya. My lovely ancestors. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy going on right now about cultural appropriation. I know that there are a lot of people right now who want to claim a heritage that may not be theirs, or may even want to claim a heritage that is there, but that is theirs, but there are those who are coming up against them because of it. A lot of us who are called African Americans are not actually African. And that is a big topic that we'll probably have to discuss another time, but I do have to touch it just a little bit right here and right now. So in all of my genealogy, all of my searching, all that I have done, and I've done a lot. I have gone to Family Search. I have gone to their local facilities here in the state of Arkansas. We have one right in our town. And I was able to look at my own documentations of a lot of my ancestors. And I have learned and found that no, there's no African. Which is okay. That's fine. And I understand that a lot of the inhabitants here of America do not originate from another foreign land, but here in the Americas, in North America itself. I have family who have had land for many years. I have family who were sharecroppers with some, but not slaves. I have some who were held in such high regard and high esteem that they actually had not slaves, but indentured servants, people who had to pay off debts. Okay, that's pretty much what that was. And like I said, a lot of this that I'm discussing right now in this short little bit of time will have to be discussed and talked about more so in another video at another time about something else. This here video is about Umashi and where it came from and how I was able to develop the meat and potatoes of it. So with all of that understanding and being able to trace back my lineage, trace back where I came from, because the Choctaw actually ended up coming from a people called the Itza. We all know about it, Chichen Itza, right? Down in the Yucatan area. This is a place where the Maya would come together and have ceremonies. And it was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful back then. Well, I don't mind speaking about my culture, my heritage, and where I came from, because I have been forced to believe that I was this, that I was that this, and that transpired, and all of these other different things happened. Which brings me to the point of trying to figure out and find out what this gift is that I have. I have been working with these hands as far as healing others or energy healing since I was 11 years old. Okay? Let me explain to you. I was always a seeker of truth, even as a little one. I went to so many different churches just because I wanted to. Someone invited me and I said, hey, I'm going to go because I want to gain an understanding. I always question things, and that's what I was taught, to always question. Even in church, when the pastors say, don't you question God? Well, I had a question and I asked it with no problem. And so I got answers as I began to develop and grow and walk on my path and my journey and find out who I am so that I can walk and live in my truth, my own truth. And so I dibbled and dabbled. I was a Jehovah's Witness for many, many years with my parents. I learned a lot there. The experience was quite interesting. I was a child, so therefore I didn't understand a lot that was going on and a lot that was told. But hey, I knew that there was something great, not only in myself, but there's something great out there. And I just wanted to tap into it. I wanted to know what it was. I also knew that there was something different about me, my energy, and the way that I interacted with others, the way that I spoke, the way that I felt about nature, the way that I felt about animals and everything. It was just so different, to the point where I was that loner. I was that kid that was sitting way on the other side while everybody else was over here having a really good time. I was the one to myself, listening to my own thoughts, experiencing what life had to offer as far as what's natural. I love nature. I love to feel the warmth of the sun on my temple, on my crown, on my skin. I just loved it. And I needed to know, what is this feeling that I have within myself that feels so good? And it seems like no one else around me understood and knew what it was. So as we got out of the phase of being Jehovah's Witness, we tried something else. And I had family members who went to like Baptist churches and things like that. And I like to sing. I was singing when I was little. And so I would help my aunts who were choir directors, and I would go and sing and, do what I felt I needed to do to feel that higher energy, to feel this thing that I felt was so natural to me. I felt that it was just oozing through my body. Like it was just, I can't even find the words, which made it really, really hard for me to find out what this is, because I feel like I'm connected to something so great and something so grand. And I just could not pinpoint what it was, but what religious people called as God. So I spoke to God. And being young and a child, I'm pretty sure my intentions were a little different than some older folks who've had more experience, who understand prayer a little bit more, or understood the concept of God and divinity and all of these things, whereas I was just connecting with this wonderful energy within myself that just felt so amazing. And I felt like I was getting the answer to my questions by simply speaking out and asking them. No, I didn't hear this great, loud, thunderous voice, and I didn't hear this still, small voice within myself. No, I felt it. And oh, did I feel it. It was the most beautiful thing ever. And so I'm not by no means saying that I'm religious and I believe in God and that I'm a praiser and I'm a worshiper and I'm all this. No, 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 no. It's not that simple. Because see, I ended up connecting to something that was already within me, but I was taught to look for it outside of myself. And so let me get back to you on how my first experience was. So at the age of 11, we decided to go to a 7-day Adventist church. And it was quite interesting there. It reminded me of regular old church. We just went on Saturday, you know. But there was a group of ladies there that piqued my attention. And they piqued my attention because they were just a little bit different. They didn't pray the same way as everyone else. They didn't speak the same way as everyone else. They didn't have the same movements as everyone else. And it reminded me so much of myself. Because see, in my family, I'm the oddball. In my family, I'm what they would call the black sheep. I'm the one that people feel like they do not understand. I'm the weirdo in my family because I have chosen to walk a different journey. I had decided to listen to those thoughts and those feelings and all of those things and live that. See, I chose to be authentically myself. I didn't want to pretend to be something because that's what everybody else was doing or because that's what my family was into or my friends or whatever. I felt comfortable in my own skin. And to some people, that's an issue. To some people, that's a problem. But for me, that was the only way I could be. That is what I understood I was supposed to do and I was supposed to be. And so as I watched these ladies and they noticed me watching them, they began to, communicate with my mother. They fellowshipped with her, as they like to say. And they invited us to a prayer group. And I really wanted to go. You see, something about them resonated with me. It connected to my energy, my frequency, my vibrations, and I needed to cling. So I did. I let my mother know that, yes, I want to go. And so we did. The very first meeting that we had, I was in awe because they did things differently. It wasn't like church. It wasn't like a regular prayer group. We weren't obligated to do things a certain way. We weren't obligated to say things a certain way. We were there being ourselves, doing what we felt needed to be done. And so in that first meeting, there was a woman who wanted to get some healing energy. Just come on, y'all, pray for me so that, I can receive this energy. And she was hopeful that something was going to happen and something was going to change. Well, it sure did that day, not only for her, but for me as well. As we began to, get in a circle around each other, the lady who seemed to be the leader, went and grabbed this big bottle, about this big, and it was full of oil, but the oil had beautiful fragrant herbs in it and resin. And oh my gosh, when she opened that bottle up, the smell, the aroma that came out was intoxicating. It was beautiful. It was frankincense and myrrh with an olive oil. There was rosemary within it and a few other things that I probably can't identify because I didn't focus so much on it. I know there was lavender in there as well, from what I could tell as a child. And so she walked around the room with all of us who were there, and she would place just a little anointing oil on our foreheads and on our temples, which is why I do that to this day. I still do the exact same thing. And we all held hands, of course, for prayer. And so in my left hand, I had my mother's hand. And in my right hand, I had one of those sisters. And we all began to close our eyes and pray. And as the seemingly leader of the prayer group began to pray, the woman who was holding my right hand began to shake my hand just a little bit. And I thought maybe she was just feeling the prayer. But she was shaking my hand a little, like she wanted me to let her go. And so I looked down and I looked up at her and I went on and let my hand go. And she said, "Woo! Hold on, y'all." Exactly like that. I cannot forget this, because it was the day I realized that I had a gift and I needed to understand what this gift is. And so they all, she got everybody's attention, and she was like, "This young lady here got the gift. She has the gift of healing." Her hand was so hot that I could no longer hold on to her hand in this moment. She asked if I was okay, and I told her I was fine. They said, "Come here, young lady. We want you to place your hands upon this lady here," the one who requested the prayer. And she was okay with it. She was all right with it. She's, "By all means, please." And so I placed my hands upon her while everybody prayed. And mind you, I didn't have a clue about what was happening and what was going on, but I still placed my hands there because I wanted to see what was getting ready to happen. And with me being a child and being in this place to pray, to send up prayers for assistance, aid, guidance, and whatever else needed to be done, that was the intention that was in my heart. And I continued that. See, I understood prayer, but I didn't understand what I was doing with these hands here with this lady. And so I began and I closed my eyes and I just went on to pray with them. And when it was all done, the lady got up and she said, "Thank you so much, young lady. I appreciate you for allowing yourself to be used in the manner and the way in which it needed to happen right then and there. I appreciate you and I love you for what you've done." Oh my gosh, I was so like, wow, but what did I just do? The seemingly leader of the prayer group came and sat with me and my mother. And she explained to me that sometimes people are gifted with certain things. You see, in the church, they call, the gift of healing, the gift of healing. And then you have the gift of prophecy and all of these other things. And so she went forward into explaining to me what those things are and what this gift was and how our ancestors, and of course, they dug deep into African spirituality as well. And so she began to tell me about how the ancestors all over the world, no matter where they're from or who actually had an elder or someone, just someone within the tribe, within the family, within the village, who was able to help heal the family, help heal the tribe, the village. And she explained to me that I was that in my family. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. It was somewhat of an explanation, but I still needed time to understand. I still needed to do some research. I still needed to study. I needed to have more experiences. I was excited when we left because it was like, I did something that I did not know that I could do. And so I began to search, study, look for things. And in that young age, I still dealt with the church. So I went to churches again with my aunts, and my mother decided to start going even more. And, things happened and things transpired. I learned a lot. Can't say that I didn't. I learned a lot. But I also learned about what happens behind the scenes in church, because I went so far as to prepare to become a youth minister. I didn't, because I began to learn, like I said, those behind the scenes things with church. And by no means is this video to bash the church. If that's what you need to start your journey, by all means, go for it. I would never tell someone not to go to church. I would never tell someone not to believe as they see fit to believe. See, your walk is your walk. Mine's is mine. What's for me is for me, and what's for you is for you. So if that is the path that you wish to take it, and take it wholeheartedly. But make sure that you learn the ins and outs so that you can make the right choices and right decisions based upon your energy, your heart, your integrity, and intentions. So I had another experience, and this was in my adulthood. And I had decided that all my research and all my studies, I'm going to go back to what I know, and that is speaking from this heart of mine. Speaking from the energy that dwells within me. And in doing so, I called upon the creator of all. The creator of earth, air, fire, water, the universe, the planets, the emptiness and the vastness of the universe and everything else. That is what I wanted to speak to, because I wanted answers. And so I did. In that moment, I had decided to be outdoors. I had to go pick up my little cousin from a day camp, which was at a park. And it was a beautiful park. I went and sat up under the biggest tree I could find out there. I got there early for this purpose. I was determined to get my answers. And so when I sat at this tree, I said, I have dabbed in everything. I have dibbled and dabbled in everything. I have studied this, studied that. I've read this book, read that book. I've listened to this lecture, listened to that lecture. I have done so much that this is full. But I need this to be full. I need my heart to be full of the truth. And so in that moment, I closed my eyes and I just said, I need a sign first and foremost that there is a force out there that had created me and everything else I see and everything that I know. And that moment, the wind blew so strong. I had never felt it that strong before. In just a single moment, just whoosh, it shook me. So I closed my eyes in meditation. I said, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take that as a confirmation that you hear my heart and my soul. So I closed my eyes in meditation and I began to speak with my heart. And I began to ask so many different questions. I wanted to know what this gift was that I had and how do I use it. I need to know what my purpose is and why am I here? What is it that I am placed on here to do? Why was my energy so precious and so important that you created a vessel for it to dwell in, for me to walk upon this earth? What was my mission? Why am I here? Who am I? So we have to make sure we ask the right questions, right? Excuse my children. We have to make sure we ask the right questions. And those were my questions. And in asking those questions, I heard a voice within my heart. And I felt what was being said to me. To this day, I am still called Phoenix as I received it that day. What was said to me was, Phoenix, my child, you are the purest to have ever come, to speak so purely out of your heart and your soul. I was so glad that I came. And I had like a similar experience when I tried ayahuasca. And we'll talk about that another time. And I know a lot of people are like, there's no hocus pocus, nothing in the sky, and blah, 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 blah. And that is true because, again, it didn't come from anywhere else. It came from within me. I can't deny that. Never will I ever deny that. It came from within me. And you know, we get confused with that sometimes because I still didn't equate it at that time that it came from within me like that. I equated that it was outside of me somewhere. And that was fine because I got what I needed in that moment. And there are some things that I heard within myself that I will not share because it was personal for me. But in that moment, when I came out of that meditation, I was accompanied by two beautiful butterflies that were not afraid to come and dance with me, play with me, land upon me. There was one on my hand and one on my forehead. And then they started to fly around me. And again, the wind began to blow because I still needed confirmation. I asked, if this is what I asked for, please show me. And so to this day, I allow nature to be a confirmation for me, even when I do my healing sessions outdoors, because I do them outdoors quite often. Because I understand now what or how I am to flow with this energy. So let's get back to what Umashi is, or how I came to operate in that title. We'll say it that way. Let me see. It's 2022. So about 6 years ago. My son is, it's about 8 years ago. Goodness gracious, time flies. But about 8 years ago, I decided, you know what? There has got to be another explanation, right? I don't have to just solely say this is healing hands, but if you go back ancient, into those times, that's what they called it, just healing hands. And so I stumbled across Usui Reiki. And I said, I found it. And I studied it. I studied it in depth. I took a course with the International Reiki Association. And it was great. It was good. It was some good information, but I felt like I needed more. So I went and got a few more books. I got about 3 Reiki books and some books about ancient spirituality. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the titles right now, but by all means, study your gift, study your craft, because it'll help you to cultivate it even more. It'll help you to dig deep into yourself. My children are having a ball, but it will help you to dig within yourself and find the truth, which is what ended up happening for me. So recently, because I've been doing this for a while, like I said, since I was 11 years old. And again, as I became an adult. So when I'm saying that, I mean about the age of 22, is when I actually understood what I was doing. And then as I began to study the more, because I was what I needed to be for my family. I was the healer in my family regardless. I was going to walk in my gifts. I was going to walk in my purpose. I was going to do what I was called to do because that's what I felt was important. And so I was that. Unknowingly of a name or whatever it was called. And so studying Reiki and doing further the continued education after taking the courses, I then understood that what I was doing is indeed energy healing, and that it was something that was so ancient that it does not have an original name today. A lot of people don't know what it is or where it comes from. And so I decided to label it something that I thought was fitting. Not only myself, my husband helped me as well come up with this term. So is like mother, it's universe, it's all, it's everything. And she is the essence of the original. Okay? So we want to call it the mother energy, or the mother or the original mother energy, because we equate energy healing a lot with that loving touch that a mother gives a child. So if your child is to stumble and fall while out playing, the mother rushes to, and then the father does as well, but the mother will rush to that baby and either place their hands on whatever it is, a scrape or whatever, or they're kissing, baby, it's gonna be okay, and they get to rub in the back, and it's okay, baby. That's this healing energy. And in Reiki, it's universal life force energy. To me, when my husband presented to me Umashi, and I couldn't do anything but say, oh my gosh, there it is. There it is. That's it. Because it felt pure. And these are the things that I go with. I have to get the notion and the feeling of purity, authenticity, real, just the right connection, the right frequency, the right vibration. It just has to sit well and it has to feel right. And it did. And so I say to you this day that my Reiki is Umashi Reiki, because I don't do traditional Japanese Usui Reiki. It was a starting point for me, as it is for a lot of people. And as I tell my students, you have to make anything that you do out of the purity of your heart your own. And so I have been walking in this and working in this and teaching this and operating in the energy that is what I've been doing for years. I needed to coin a different title because it is not Japanese Usui Reiki. How can it be when I am not that? How can anything that you operate in that you say is an extension of yourself be something that does not belong to your energy, your culture, your heritage, the thing that you emit out of yourself? Yes, I learned some very wonderful things, some wonderful techniques, and some wonderful order. That's the word. But I still needed to continue making this my own. And so hence Umashi. And from this day forward, that is what it will be called. I will leave Reiki attached to it for a short length of time because I need people to understand that it is still energy healing, but it is Umashi energy healing. Because it comes from the depths of my soul, the very purpose of my existence. It comes from the she energy within me, the original blood that flows through me. That is where this comes from. This comes from the divine connection to the all, to that which established this galaxy, this universe, within whatever energetic cosmos, whatever this is that we reside in. That is where it comes from. And to me, that means tapping into that within me. And so I'm tapping into the ancient of ancients. And I'm bringing it to the present day to reestablish the real, the truth, the authentic healing energy that our ancestors operated in and walked in and understood. So that is what InnerXi energy healing is. And so I am offering classes. I am offering services in InnerXi, not just energy healing, but restoring the sacredness of our being, restoring that authentic truth and realness within us. Because it's much deeper than you coming in and you wanting to get on that table and get chakras aligned and balanced. It's so much more to it. Because you see, just like they say in Reiki, InnerXi works on every aspect and every level of our existence, whether it's spiritual, mental, emotional, or physical. It makes sure that balance can be achieved. Because you see, we go out here in this world and we are dealing with any and everything that comes our way. But we have to have the full understanding that we ourselves are important. And more important than our day-to-day happenings that we deal with, work, family, friends, all of these businesses and all of that stuff. Our personal well-being is what's most important. And that is what I am here today to do. You see, I discovered what my purpose and my calling is here. And it's not to heal you. That is never my purpose. But it's to help you develop a healing lifestyle attached to every aspect of your existence. The way you think, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you move. The things that you allow to bring into your little bubble and the things that sit outside of your bubble. You see, everything works in unison with one another. And understanding that will help us all get to the bottom of issues and things that plague us on daily basis. So I'm here to help you address your causative issues. I'm here to help you go back and understand traumas that happen in your life. I'm here to help you be able to forgive not only yourself, but those who may have been operating in whatever their situations were. Because again, everything has a causative issue. Everything stems from something. I've had traumas and I have allowed myself to go back and understand those traumas. Not necessarily to say it happened in a well, no, but to understand that domino effect. People do things because something else happened in their lives, and then something may happen in another person's lives, and so on and so forth. I'm not mad at nobody in my past because I was able to take a moment, go back and understand and learn that, you know what? People do things because of the things that they learn and they experience in their lives. And they do them because that's what they know. And that's what they understand. So at that moment of understanding that, I'm able to say, you know what? I forgive you. You know what they say in the forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. That is true. They don't know. They do what they do because that's the only thing that they know. And because they didn't know any better, they continued that cycle. But see, the thing is we never know after years and years and years go by what that person did to change that. What if that person does want forgiveness? It is up to us to deal with our personal. I'm going to say it. It is up for us to deal with our personal shit. And it does not mean that we have to place blame on ourselves or anybody else. What that means is that we need to just simply take time to understand. Get some guidance for a moment and see what is actually transpiring here. And so with that understanding, I want to offer to you guys some wonderful, wonderful distant Reiki healing. So what I like to do it's like every other Saturday, we'll do this, where I'll just offer distance Reiki. And what I'll do is I'll put a link on my website where you guys can go and register for this distance Reiki. And maybe even set up some Zoom sessions to where you guys can actually be present in the moment physically so that you can receive this distance umashi healing. I hope that this video finds you all in perfect peace and wellness. I hope that you gain some clarity and understanding on what it is that old Phoenix here does. And, find it in yourself to want to learn something that resonates with you, learn something that you have been maybe doing for a long time, but not understanding what it was. Maybe your story is similar to mine. Maybe not, and you're just curious. It's quite all right. I do offer my classes via Zoom as well as local here in Central Arkansas. If you are interested, please head over to copperchul.com. That's COPPER CHULEL.com. And discover all that's meant for you. Because that is all I am here for. To be an assistant to you, to aid you on your spiritual journey, down whichever path you choose. It's your journey to walk, your path to take. I am here, again, just to help. So with that being said, peace and blessings to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I am Phoenix Nadi, the Copper Shaman. This is Copper Chul Spiritual Health Academy. Hope you guys got a little bit of understanding about umashi energy healing. And I'll give you a little bit more another time. But I had to tell my story. I had to let you know who I am. Peace. Wait, don't go just yet. I have a wonderful offer for you. If you are interested in learning the wonderful healing modality of umashi Reiki energy healing, then head over to copperchul.com. That's COPPERCHULEL.com and use the discount code YouTube and receive 10% off the entire course. Yes, that is 10% off the entire course. But guess what? We also offer each level individually. So you can take level 1, level 2, level 3 at your convenience when you are ready. These classes are live online with me on Zoom. So again, head over to copperchul.com, COPPERCHULEL.com, and go ahead and register for your umashi Reiki Energy Healing Master Certification class. Now, we do have a group class scheduled for this month, but if you missed it, it is quite all right. We do one-on-one classes as well. Again, head over to copperchul.com, use discount code YouTube, and receive 10% off the entire course, or pay level by level. Again, go to copperchul.com.